Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moments. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of upcoming episode of Swallowed Star Part 274 based on novel. So let's start. Lord of Fanuo Fortress glared at the black golden horned beast in the distance. Blossoming Snow Vine was his original body, but when they were fighting, Lord of Fanuo Fortress found that he was completely suppressed. Though he had a senior true treasure armor and a gigantic godly body, Blossoming Snow Vine still couldn't stop that black golden horned beast. The dark turquoise fortress flew toward Lord of Fanuo Fortress while he flew toward the fortress as well. He stopped caring about the human Luofeng as he knew that if the golden horned beast got close to him, he would be in deep trouble. Want to flee? Luofeng shook his wings, and the space and time were in complete disorder. Shadows of Luofeng showed up around Lord of Fanuo Fortress. What? Lord of Fanuo Fortress was terrified, and he immediately cursed the one who had given him the information. He had heard that Luofeng was following the beast god path, but the Luofeng in front of him already had exceptional control over the space and time. Even if Luofeng was using his true treasure, he needed adequately thorough comprehension. Lord of Fanuo Fortress didn't know about the engraving picture path. Go away. Lord of Fanuo Fortress growled and lashed at Luofeng. A cold and sharp golden light shone. It was irresistible. The lash was bent, and cutting pearl blade hit the head of Lord of Fanuo Fortress. The armor withstood the attack, but Lord of Fanuo Fortress fell because of it. Lord of Fanuo Fortress looked up at Luofeng, terrified. Impossible. How was it possible that Luofeng could be this powerful? That blade technique. The blade technique Luofeng had just used was the same as the one the golden horned beast used. Was it possible that the peerless genius Luofeng's soul was already transferred to the golden horned beast? That was why the human Luofeng was able to wield the incredible technique the golden horned beast used. Of course, realized Lord of Fanuo Fortress. Luofeng had extraordinary potential, and many supreme beings craved to enslave him, to make him a body for themselves. However, the human race must have given him strict protection. How did the golden horned beast take his soul? This is incredible. Lord of Fanuo Fortress tried to flee. Luofeng moved his wings, and his acceleration reached a new level through the top-tier true treasure Shawu wings. Several shadows immediately blocked Lord of Fanuo Fortress. You can't run away, said Luofeng, and he attacked with his blade again. Lord of Fanuo Fortress tried to use his whip to resist it, but he bounced away again. He wasn't able to escape Luofeng in a short time, and he had to trigger the flying fortress to save him. Although the fortress was flying toward him, the golden horned beast was flying at him as well. However, the fortress was apparently faster than the golden horned beast. Scram, human! Giant vines spread from the fortress. Humph! Luofeng snorted, and the wings on his back immediately grew larger. They became almost 60 miles wide. Break! The wings were like blades, and Luofeng was like the handle. The blade slashed through the vines like a knife through butter. Damn it! Lord of Fanuo Fortress shouted, growing anxious. He growled. All the vines went back to the flying fortress, and at the same time, the fortress hit the giant set of Shawu wings on Luofeng's back. Luofeng trembled. The moment the fortress hit Shawu wing, countless vines spread out from the fortress. Lord of Fanuo Fortress touched a vine, and his godly whip, true treasure armor, and other valuables all went into the godly body of Blossoming Snow Vine. As for his original body, it was annihilated. All the vines went back to the palace, and it started to fly away. The golden horned beast ran through the space. The longest horn on his head hit the flying fortress, which bounced away. The flying fortress then sped up and tried to flee like a beam of light. Above the ocean on an original star flew a flying fortress, and a giant man walked out of the fortress. Lord of Fanuo Fortress still felt terrified. What a powerful golden horned beast! He robbed the human Luofeng's soul. And he's so mighty. Although they used the same technique, That golden horned beast is apparently more skilled. It must have an incredible attack-type true treasure. The more he thought about it, the more shocked he became. That golden horned beast is a handful. Luo Feng was also recalling that fight. Lord of Fanuo Fortress has a life gene level of 1,000 times, which is inferior to that of the World Tree, he thought. Besides, the inherited technique, control over space and time, the World Tree has is more helpful for fighting, while the inherited technique Lord of Fanuo Fortress has is 2 more bodies. He concluded that Lord of Fanuo Fortress was slightly weaker than the World Tree. Luo Feng's godly power was weaker than that of Lord of Fanuo Fortress, yet his technique was much more powerful. He must have been at the same level as the World Tree, which was why he could suppress Lord of Fanuo Fortress. However, I could only suppress him, not defeat him. I'm only slightly more powerful than him, and his weapon weakened my attack to a large extent. I only injured him a little bit when it hit his godly body. Luo Feng understood that because the golden horned beast had a top-tier set true treasure beast god armor, even blossoming snow vine, which was over 600,000 miles long, could only run. That was all he could do, even though he had a flying fortress as well. His fortress was like a turtle shell, strong enough to withstand an attack from a universe master. Even his technique, I am the universe, might not have been able to injure the godly body hidden inside the flying fortress. The more powerful it gets, the more difficult it is to kill, Luo Feng thought. However, it's so weird this time. Lord of Fanuo Fortress wants my metal? And he's willing to fight me for it? The metal might be as valuable as a true treasure. The Northern Territory Alliance. Inside the towering palaces surrounded by black fire lived numerous undying servants and universe knights. The palaces in the Northern Territory Alliance all had undying servants and universe knights, and all were looking at the main palace in the center with humble veneration. At the periphery of the palace was endless light. That was where Star River Master lived. Star River Master was a revered being in the universe and was equally as renowned as Primal Chaos City leader. The powers in the universe respected Star River Master even more than Primal Chaos City leader. Inside the main palace, a shadow that looked like a black hole sat on the throne. All the light that touched it was swallowed by the shadow. Hua! 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 The space and time in the palace were being reversed. The scenes kept turning back. Group after group of universe knights came here to see Star River Master, and some other great beings also met Star River Master here. Even Supreme Universe Masters had come here before. Stop! Suddenly, 2 universe knights who had come here were frozen in place, in the middle of giving salutations. Time kept being reversed, and the scene kept changing, but the 2 shadows remained frozen. Stop! 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 One shadow after another was fixed. They were universe knights of all kinds. Soon, 39 universe knights stood there still like sculptures. Time, go back. The time that was being reversed went back. The backlash from Operation Law was transferred to the emptiness of the black hole on the throne. It shivered and tried to recover. It was clearly a burden for him to resurrect 39 senior universe knights. After a while, everything went back normal. All 39 universe knights regained consciousness. They looked at each other in shock, and their memories flooded back to them. "Thank you, Star River Master," they said. All of them saluted. A voice came from Star River Master. 22 or 23 of you died because of that human Luo Feng. Answer me. Who is his helper? It's a black golden horned beast. A strange beast that looks like a golden horned beast but has 6 horns, and one of them is extremely long. A black, strange beast. They all answered one by one. However, a squeaky voice spoke up and said, "Were all of you killed by the black, strange beast? Am I the only one who got killed by the human Luo Feng?" "Killed by Luo Feng," someone called out. "Do you even know of his power? Are you kidding me?" "What a joke," another knight said. But soon, 3 more universe knights spoke up. "I was killed by Luo Feng too," someone said. "Me too. I thought I had an illusion, but I was killed by Luo Feng too." The palace went silent. It was possible that one senior universe knight was mistaken, but all were terrified when 4 senior universe knights said the same thing. Inside the Primal Chaos City, Luo Feng walked into the Primal Chaos City leader's palace, and all the guards greeted him respectfully. Master! Master! Luo Feng nodded and walked to the side palace where the beings of the race contributed their true treasures. That Lord of Fanuo fortress interested Luo Feng. So did the evil Fog Knight, who had been killed by his technique, I am the universe. Both evil Fog Knight and Lord of Fanuo fortress come from Thornring Alliance, thought Luo Feng. Lord of Fanuo fortress knows of my golden horned beast, and he wants my metal. Luo Feng speculated that there might be some unknown valuables in his metal, which was why he had temporarily left the original stars and came back to his god country, bringing with him the metal he couldn't identify. He had brought it to Primal Chaos City to identify it. What is it? Luo Feng was confused. He arrived at the side palace. The bronze door opened, and Luo Feng walked in. The quiet and ancient temple hall was very spacious. Only the stone plate in the middle was conspicuous. This was the location where one could place items, and the virtual universe system would conduct an examination and arrive at a verdict regarding their value. This was the only place that Luo Feng could think of to easily identify a piece of an unnamed valuable. Previously, based on what my access rights allowed, Luo Feng said to himself, I made use of the virtual universe network to make comparisons with the metals that I couldn't identify. Now, I could confirm almost every unknown metal. Although some of them are rare, it was better than seeing Lord of Fanuo Fortress beat his brains out trying to figure out the metals. Now, I'm down to the last 3 types. Purely through his own investigative work on the network, he was now left with only 3 types of metal that could not be identified. Based on his conjecture, there were valuables to be found from within. Luo Feng flipped his hand, and a green crystal stone the size of a sesame seed appeared in the middle of his palm. He gently placed it on the stone plate. Green thread started rising from the middle of the stone plate in a winding path to envelop the green crystal stone. Then the stone plate started to process the stone meticulously. A short while later, a voice rang out an analysis. Metal. Wood in research crystals. 1 piece. If given to race as a contribution, one can receive 18 treasure points. Luo Feng, are you willing to contribute this treasure to your race? Oh. It is truly a treasure. Luo Feng's expression revealed a trace of surprise. No wonder I couldn't find any information on this metal with my access rights on the network. Just this little stone that is the size of a sesame seed is worth 18 treasure points. It seems the universe overlords and knights that I have killed did indeed have quite a fair number of valuables hidden among their possessions. However, only 18 treasure points. That's not even worth one fight against Lord of Fanuo Fortress. Luo Feng shook his head and dismissed this piece of treasure. With one hand outstretched, the crystal stone that was the size of a sesame seed flew back to rest on his palm and was immediately stored back in his world ring. Then, with another flip, another piece of metal appeared in his palm. This black metal was around the size of a human head, and its surface was divided into a total of 360 facets. The facet was smooth and shiny beyond comparison, to the extent that they were as reflective as mirrors. This was another one of the 3 great metals Luo Feng failed to identify. Go. The black metal floated off his palm and made its way over to the stone plate. Countless green threads rose up in a winding path again to envelop this piece of black metal stone. Huh? Luo Feng frowned. Why is this taking such a long time? It had never taken this long before, even when he brought his true treasure to be examined. Eventually, the gentle voice sounded again. This time, it resonated throughout the entire hall, creating an echo. Disambiguation Mirror Stone. An item belonging to the Disambiguation Temple. If contributed to the race, one could earn 20 true treasure points. Luo Feng, are you willing to contribute this treasure to your race? Luo Feng's eyes lit up. 20 true treasure points? That was even more expensive than 9 Tiger River. This is it. Luo Feng looked at the Disambiguation Mirror Stone with amazement. At the same time, he summoned it back to his palm very quickly by stretching out his hand. With sparkling eyes, he stared at the disambiguation mirror stone. No wonder. No wonder Lord of Fanuo Fortress was willing to go to any means to obtain it. He initiated a fair trade of metals on purpose. Such a bully. He must be taking advantage of the fact that I was unaware of the wonders of this disambiguation mirror stone. Luo Feng felt adrenaline coursing through his veins. Although it had been close to 20,000 years since he had first entered an original star, during this period, Luo Feng's consciousness occasionally entered the virtual universe, so the major events on the original stars were nothing novel to him. Undoubtedly, he knew them all. For close to 20,000 years, on the 10,081 original stars, if there was one such event that was most shockingly soul-stirring, it was none other than the tumult in the Disambiguation Temple. This occurrence had driven the races of the universe into a frenzy. In the first 600 years after the paths to the original stars appeared, various universe laws befell original star number 02892. All of a sudden, various laws and origins had appeared on this original star at the same time. There were elements like gold, wood, water, fire, earth, wind, thunder, and lightning, light, time, and space. The combined power was overwhelming. At one point in time, it felt as though the entire planet had fallen into shackles, and every single one of the universe knights and universe overlords had difficulty moving. At the same time, a temple started to emerge gradually from beneath ground. The entire process took close to a full 100 years, and during this time, various major powers of the universe sent forth their super beings to this temple. At one point, this temple was surrounded by many universe masters, and only universe overlords with top-tier universe overlord capabilities would dare to venture near it. After a period of 100 years later, the Disambiguation Temple fully emerged. Before it was erected a black stone tablet. The stone tablet had ancient engravings that were easily deciphered. Any great being would understand the moment they laid eyes on them. The content was very simple. It read, "The birth of Disambiguation Temple." A stone tablet appears. The moment the stone tablet disintegrates, on the 10,081 original stars, during a certain time and place, a single or many disambiguation mirror stones will appear at random. There are a total of 36 disambiguation mirror stones, and they all resemble ordinary stones. During birth, their dynamics are comparable to that of senior true treasures. When all 36 have fully emerged, the Disambiguation Temple will open. Those possessing disambiguation mirror stones may enter. Any great beings without the stones will be considered as trespassing and will be annihilated without exception. 1 year later, the stone tablet disintegrated. That was when various rumors started circulating. There were sayings like the disambiguation mirror stones had been born on a certain original star. The rumors gave rise to many disputes. However, no one knew the exact time and place where the stones could be. This required a touch of luck. Even if a great being had strong powers, it would still be a challenging feat to obtain a disambiguation mirror stone. News of the stone tablet was disseminated early. Of course, Luo Feng knew of it. So, this is the disambiguation mirror stone. I have been so oblivious to the treasure I have. Luo Feng looked at the piece of black crystal stone. During the birth of the disambiguation mirror stones, there was an aura so overwhelming that it was like the birth of a senior true treasure, which was why it would have been best to find this disambiguation mirror stone during its birth. Then, the unique characteristics of this stone could be observed and acquired. The birth of a stone possessed a power that was comparable to a senior true treasure. Every great being would be able to guess that this was not an ordinary stone. However, just like how Luo Feng killed other strong beings, then simply gathered and collected all the valuables that they once possessed, even if one possessed these disambiguation mirror stones, they might not be able to identify them correctly. The befalling of various laws and origins of the universe, said Luo Feng. The Disambiguation Temple seems to be the greatest treasure during the opening of the original stars this time around. The original stars usually took a limitless period of waiting before they opened once. When they did open, they would only remain open for 1,000 eras. During this period of 1000 eras, top-tier domain-type true treasures, top-tier soul-type true treasures, top-tier flying palace-type true treasures, and pinnacle weapon-type true treasures showed up quite frequently. The only concern was that these would all come with imperfections and would be scattered all over the place. During the 1000 eras that the original stars remained open, there was bound to be one true treasure that was most fearsome of all, one that would dominate all other true treasures. Usually, the predominant one would be a pinnacle domain-type true treasure, a pinnacle flying palace-type true treasure, or a pinnacle soul-type true treasure. And they would normally also possess other functions too. Force armor, for instance, also had the power of soul defense, Beast God armor had powers of attack and defense, Supreme True Treasure Star Tower was a fusion of soul defense, flying palace, suppression, attack, and many other functions. Every time the original stars open, the most powerful true treasure that appeared would usually be a combination of numerous abilities. For instance, the main function of a pinnacle soul-type true treasure would be soul defense, but it would also have the function of partial godly body defense, or even the function of creating illusions. In short, a pinnacle soul-type true treasure would only be second to a supreme true treasure. And supreme true treasures were especially uncommon. Even the 9 greatest supreme beings in the universe did not own any supreme true treasures to reign dominance over the others. So pinnacle true treasures of the various types like domains, soul, flying palaces were more than enough to send various races in the universe into a frenzy. It will be an eternity before the original stars open again, Luo Feng said to himself. Every pinnacle soul-type true treasure or true treasures of the same level would be known as a predominant clan true treasure. Once a strong and powerful universe master possessed such a true treasure and used it with other true treasures, the possibility of being annihilated would be nearly zero. Even if the opponent possessed a supreme true treasure, escape would always be possible when defeat was not. No wonder Qian Yang Knight hid this stone all this time, thought Luo Feng. He would not have dared to reveal this. Once word had spread that he owned it, this disambiguation mirror stone would naturally have fallen into the hands of the universe masters in the automaton clan for their own uses. He was fortunate enough to obtain one senior true treasure. And if he went into the temple, only 36 great beings in the entire universe could enter the Disambiguation Temple through the many different doors, so there was no way he could fail to survive. Should a great being make it out alive, then the trip in would be extremely rewarding. Even if one failed, resurrection would always be the next course of action. Luo Feng clearly understood what had gone through the minds of Qian Yang Knight and Lord of Fanuo Fortress. Qian Yang Knight hid the news. And Lord of Fanuo Fortress had been unwilling to reveal the news that Qian Yang Knight had a disambiguation mirror stone. If word spread, Qian Yang Knight would have had to pay his respects and surrender the stone to his race. Qian Yang Knight would keep mum about the secret he held against Lord of Fanuo Fortress. Lord of Fanuo Fortress held a high status, having 3 great bodies, with each one comparable to that of a top-tier universe overlord. His status could almost match up to a universe master, so even if word spread and the Thorn Ring Alliance found out that he had a disambiguation mirror stone, no one would be able to forcefully take it from him. If he was backed into a corner, a special life form such as Lord of Fanuo Fortress could always choose to leave the Thorn Ring Alliance and join other alliances. Both had their own plans. Qian Yang Knight was not afraid of Lord of Fanuo Fortress hunting him down. He was confident he would stay alive. Lord of Fanuo Fortress was also confident that he would be able to get his hands on the disambiguation mirror stone, and hence, the situation maintained the status quo. But no one expected Luo Feng's intervention. Qian Yang Knight was skilled in escaping with his domain-type true treasure combined with his senior true treasure armor, flowing like wings. Even Luo Feng had been unable to give chase and eventually had to depend on his "I am the universe" technique to achieve the kill at last, which was how this disambiguation mirror stone had fallen into the hands of Luo Feng. With this disambiguation mirror stone, I also qualify to enter the Disambiguation Temple, Luo Feng said, his emotions running high. This kind of opportunity only comes once in the passage of many countless eras. Within 1,000 years, I will be able to become a universe overlord. Once I attain the level of universe overlord, my godly body will grow even bigger and stronger. My power will increase. I will be equipped with more resources to pursue other valuables. Luo Feng nodded as he finished his analysis of the situation. Then he put the third piece of metal to test. It was a small metal piece worth 31 treasure points. Although Luo Feng was quite surprised to learn of the value, he dismissed it with a laugh. Thereafter, Luo Feng made his way out of Primal Chaos City and left the Primal Universe. He returned to the original universe, within the territory of the Thorn Ring Alliance. For a life planet to gain unparalleled prosperity, the prevalence of technology must never be underestimated, even if the planet did not depend on that technology. The majority of life planets in the universe, especially those with life forms that were inherently weak, relied more on the use of technology to create an ideally comfortable living environment. Towering skyscrapers, speeding cars, aerial parking berths. All these would be common sights. At the top of a skyscraper, Lord of Fanuo Fortress had transformed into a godly body that was around 9 feet tall. Sitting in his armchair, he overlooked the city. As he was a special life form, he preferred the way these ordinary and weaker life forms lived. Luo Feng. Golden Horned Beast, he muttered. This disambiguation mirror stone must have fallen into his possession. Failing in my mission this time around must have roused his suspicions. He has probably made use of human race's information system to identify the disambiguation mirror stone by now. Lord of Fanuo Fortress frowned as he fell into deep thoughts. Lord of Fanuo Fortress was sitting in the penthouse hall of a skyscraper. Suddenly, the doorbell rang. "Come in," Lord of Fanuo Fortress said. The door opened automatically, and a man with 4 hoofs, 2 hands, and numerous antennae on his face walked in. "Boss, these are the financial statements for this year," the man said and handed in the documents respectfully. Characters of other races lined the documents. Lord of Fanuo Fortress took the documents and skimmed through them. It was a corporation he had established when disguising himself as an ordinary life form on this planet. Though it may have sounded ridiculous for a mighty, top-tier universe overlord to do such a thing, he enjoyed being close to most ordinary beings of the universe. Sometimes, he might gain new inspiration in laws when feeling the competition among the ordinary. "Leave me first," ordered Lord of Fanuo Fortress. "I'll hold a meeting later." "Yes, sir." The ordinary life forms working for this corporation would never have guessed how terrific their boss was. Even the so-called great beings, great being at the universe level, was a joke to Lord of Fanuo Fortress. He had secretly manipulated several power struggles on the planet, and it was like the blink of an eye to him. He could annihilate the double stars in the sky with a thought if he so desired. The Golden Horned Beast had transferred Luo Feng's soul to himself, thought Lord of Fanuo Fortress. Undying fighters' souls can't be robbed. Does that mean Luo Feng's soul was transferred when he was a sector lord? Luo Feng gained such fame on Redbud Island, but is it possible that his soul was already transferred to the Golden Horned Beast? No wonder Luo Feng could be revived right after he died. He must be a new body of that Golden Horned Beast. Soul transfer meant entering the original soul into a new body. The Golden Horned Beast had his original body and 3 other bodies, and the mind of a body had to leave and abandon the original body to occupy a new body. However, soul transfer could only be done on beings beneath the level of undying. Lord of Fanuo Fortress stood up abruptly. Something's wrong. Luo Feng was able to kill a pinnacle emperor when he was only a sector lord, thought Lord of Fanuo Fortress, and he killed Bark Mirror Emperor as an undying fighter. His body is as powerful as those unique life forms. Regardless, a sector lord level body is not able to withhold the soul of a universe knight, even if his body has a life gene level of thousands of times. Was the Golden Horned Beast only undying when he did soul transfer on Luo Feng? "That's right," he muttered. "This is the only explanation. That is how he succeeded. And that is why I can't recognize him even with such fame. But how did he perform such a powerful technique? Even inherited techniques of unique life forms aren't that strong. It was impossible for Luo Feng to get the Golden Horned Beast's soul. It had only been a short while since Luo Feng started training, and he wasn't able to create techniques that terrific. It was also impossible for the Golden Horned Beast to get Luo Feng's soul. Luo Feng, when he was only a sector lord, wasn't able to withhold the soul of a universe knight, and the golden horned beast must have still been undying before. It was also impossible for the golden horned beast to have created techniques at that level. But they used the same technique. Which means they had the same mind. Soul transfer must have happened. How? What happened? Lord of Fanuo Fortress couldn't figure it out after pondering the secret for a long while. He was amazed at how mysterious the universe was, and there were many inexplicable matters in the universe. Lord of Fanuo Fortress was living on that ordinary planet while Luo Feng went back to his god country and continued the comprehension. He wanted to make a breakthrough and became a universe knight. At the same time, in the palace surrounded by endless chaos airflow, at the apex of Thunder Island of the virtual universe, Primal Chaos City Leader sat at the edge of the cliff with his legs crossed and his eyes closed. Suddenly, a light shone beside him, and a picture with detailed descriptions showed up on the screen. Huh? It was sent by the virtual universe. What's the information? Primal Chaos City Leader looked at the screen, confused. The moment he saw the screen, he grew surprised. Luo Feng got the Disambiguation Mirror Stone. Chaos. A sound rang in the space. Huge Axe, Primal Chaos City Leader responded respectfully. Only two beings in the human race could talk to him without application, and Huge Axe Creator was one of them. Chaos, did you know that Luo Feng used the virtual universe system to appraise the Disambiguation Mirror Stone? Boomed the voice. The other universe masters know it, too. I decided to hold a meeting to decide who that stone belongs to. Do you agree? Yes. Primal Chaos City Leader nodded. Primal Chaos City Leader knew that Disambiguation Stone had to do with the most important true treasure since the original stars opened. Universe Masters didn't care about ordinary true treasures at all. However, as for the pinnacle true treasures that were able to be born in the Disambiguation Temple, all the powers in the universe craved them. It was already generous of Huge Axe Creator to hold a meeting instead of asking for it from Luo Feng directly. After all, the virtual universe system belonged to the human race. And the most senior beings in the human race were Huge Axe Creator, Primal Chaos City Leader, Void Gold Master, Spread Mountain Master, Longyang Master, and those who were their equals. After Luo Feng appraised the Disambiguation Mirror Stone, the virtual universe transferred the message to the seniors. In a dimension in the virtual universe where there was dimming starlight in the dark, a godly palace floated in the sky. There was a long stone bench in front of the godly palace with stone chairs on both sides. At one end of the bench was located only one stone chair, and a wild man sat in it. Suddenly, more beings showed up on the chairs on both sides of the bench. They were universe masters of the human race. Everyone arrived in no time. Everyone's here, the wild man said, looking sideways, but all the universe masters looked at him respectfully. Huge Axe Creator was a universe supreme master. Luo Feng obtained the Disambiguation Mirror Stone, he went on, and it's related to a valuable that can possibly be a pinnacle true treasure. It's vital to our race, but it was obtained by Luo Feng through his own power, which means we can't ask for it directly. How are we supposed to get it? Huge Axe Creator gave the first prerequisite, that they couldn't ask for it directly. The Disambiguation Mirror Stone, said a cold voice. It's related to the Disambiguation Temple. Luo Feng is nothing compared to that. Just ask him to give us the stone, and we'll pay him back. Is it enough to give him a senior true treasure? We can give him more if he thinks it's not enough. Yes, some universe masters said, nodding. I agree. Though he obtained it by himself, it would be a waste to let him keep it. After the Disambiguation Temple opens, the stone will be useless. However, that stone might bring us humans a pinnacle true treasure. I agree. I do, too. The universe masters voiced their opinions one after another. Although what you said makes sense, said a gentle voice, I need you all to remember that Luo Feng is a timeless and peerless talent of our race. And it's easy to imagine him to be proud. The Disambiguation Mirror Stone is important, but it's also important not to damage our relationship with Luo Feng. We need to be careful, and we must learn from what happened with Flame Emperor. Luo Feng's potential is not inferior to that of Flame Emperor, and chances are that he might become a universe master in the future. That's different. Luo Feng is completely different from Flame Emperor. Flame Emperor is extremely selfish, and he didn't even know what it meant to protect his own race. I don't feel sorry for losing him at all. Instead, I felt great about it. It would be an insult to me if I had to fight along with him. Flame Emperor is different from Luo Feng. The gentle voice continued, for what it's worth, we all know the pride of those super talents. The more talented they are, the more pride they have. And they'll be upset if we can't deal with it appropriately. Technically, the stone belongs to Luo Feng, and he has a right even to waste it. It'll be the best if Huge Axe brings the stone into the temple, and it's likely for him to get the true treasure with Huge Axe's power. Yes. I agree with what Qingdong Master said. We need to be careful. It'll be a waste to leave it with Luo Feng, but we need to come up with a good way to persuade him. It'll be a bit difficult to persuade Luo Feng. Only Primal Chaos City leader remained silent. All the Universe Masters agreed that it would better to placate Luo Feng. They all valued Luo Feng highly even though they were Universe Masters who ruled the human race. What do you think, Chaos? One of them urged. Primal Chaos City leader smiled. I won't disagree with you guys. We should take the Disambiguation Mirror Stone back, but we can't damage our relationship with Luo Feng. We can't let Luo Feng proceed in the footsteps of Flame Emperor. All the Universe Masters nodded. It was not unusual for great beings to join other powers. For one thing, in general, the families of great beings all fell. For another, the more powerful great beings became, the more confident they got, and they could be stubborn on some issues. Once they were infuriated, they would break away from the powers they belonged to. I'll leave this to you, Chaos, the wild man said with a grin. You're his teacher, and he'll listen to you. Ha ha. Chaos, please take care of this. Ha ha. The Universe Masters all broke into laughter. Primal Chaos City leader could only nod. Please try everything to persuade Luo Feng, the wild man said. The Disambiguation Mirror Stone is related to the super true treasure in the Disambiguation Temple, after all. Primal Chaos City leader nodded. I'll try my best. This video will end here.